recall that after the last kicking out of the left foot, left hand on the outside, left foot coming up, we kick out in line. We pull it in, and we somehow get into serpent. So what do we do when we do somehow we get into serpent? So after the last kick out with your left, you bring it in, and you come down quickly this way. But where your toe is positioned is very specific. It's not only parallel, where the 2 feet are parallel, rather than this way, which is not parallel. So I come down with my toe, but it needs to be in line with the heel of my opposite foot. So if I drag this back, it should be in line with the heel of my opposite foot. So if you start with your heel and come out, this is where that foot should be planted, and it's parallel. Then for some, moving on, it comes down, and weight is planted. Okay, we're going to good Tai Chi posture, planted on the opposite foot, because this is only a near weightless foot, which would allow me, when I come down, to flatten this guy. But then it has to pivot to the left, and I have to be in this kind of a L stance position to then come up as a golden cockerel. So I'm kind of taking the feet apart now, okay? So although when we kick out with our left, we're looking at the clock wall, let's pretend that this is a clock wall. I don't know if I can. So post down on your right foot, coming up with your left hand on the outside, left foot coming up, kick out in line. Down, not down, in, and then come quickly this way, and you're like this. Down. Okay, not so much worried about hands, but I'm just trying to find my place, right? So your toe is in line with the heel if you were to drag it back. My feet are parallel. I have my weight on my right, but when I drop down, this comes down, but the weight is still on the right. You're going to have trouble turning if your weight is distributed too much or a lot on your left. So weight is still here. You come down, the left or forward foot pivots on its heel and veers to the left. So can I get you to show me? You can do this with me. Put your right foot on a line, at the corner of a line. Put your left toe on that line and keep them parallel. And show me what I mean by the right foot has the weight. When the right foot has the weight and comes down, you're able to lower the left or toed foot. Weight still on the right. As we come down and be that serpent, we're going to put the weight on our left heel, and we're going to pivot all the way and slant towards your left. Can I see you do this right now? Okay, so we're going to come out. We're going to come down. Pivot on the left heel to the left position. Adjust the back foot to the 45, and you should be like me now. And it's okay to adjust that back foot to a 45, yeah. Change that foot. So I'm just going to want you. You can move a little bit more, Laura. The back foot, you can turn it to a 45 degree, yeah. Yeah, good. Okay. Let's do it one more time. Let me just caution you. You don't have to have, for serpent in the grass, you don't have to have a wide span again. If you have a too wide a span, you're going to have a hard time shifting to the front. So you want to make it not short of it, but just whatever's comfortable for you, okay? In the same way we talked about Tai Chi walk, you don't want to take that huge thing, okay? All right, so we said we're working on feet. We're planting our right foot on a line at the corner of a tile, where left foot is on that line and it's dragged to the left, and We have them parallel. Our weight is on the right. We come down, so therefore the left foot comes down with it. This is the insubstantial foot on the left. We want to lift up the toe so that we could pivot on our heel, veer to the left, adjust the back foot to a 45 degree, and we're in this zigzag position. Then we want to shift our weight and come up to our forward foot and come up as a golden cockerel. And we're having difficulty because we need those arms, but we're trying to establish what our feet do, okay? So one more time before we put our hands together. We have just put our left hand on the outside, left foot coming up, and we're kicking out in line, coming in, and we're doing this, okay? Got it? Weight on the right. Drop down, lower that forward foot to its flat sole. Pivot on the heel to the left, adjust the back foot to the 45 degree. Shift your weight, come up, and be a golden cockerel on the left, okay? And then we have the other side, and the other side then will take you to the back again, okay? So in some ways, you're never going to be able to see me on one side unless I run back and forth. All right. Now, the hands, you know, enhance the feet. So you watch for a while and ask yourself, how are her hands enhancing her feet? Something like that, okay? So you see that the hands do not work counter or work separately from what our feet are doing. The hands are helping us with whatever we're doing in shifting or weighting down on our feet. Okay, let's see if that's true. All right, same thing we're going to do, but we're going to add our hands. So we're posted on our right, because we're coming up with our left hand on the outside, left foot coming up, and we're kicking out in line. Bringing it in again. Sorry, bringing it out, bringing it in. Now we're ready for serpent. We drop down, but weight is on our right. We make our turn, we pivot and go to the left, and we set, and I'll go all over the hands again, and I'll shift your weight to the front foot and up, golden cockerel. Put your toe down, spin and hook hand on the left, and you're at the clock wall. Everything's parallel. You split, you come down. Halfway, you're going to veer to the right, and you're going to set, and you're going to come up as a golden cockerel. Okay? So we say, wow, it's not easy. I don't get it. I don't know. It's too hard. I can't see her, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and it's true. Everything is true, but we're going to learn it, okay? All right. So now we're going to look at our hands and see how our hands will help us with our feet, okay? Going to watch. So I'm not sure what I'm going to teach you. So this is called the hook hand. So the hook, everybody can do a hook. Surround your forefingers around your thumb in a light position, okay, a light way. And the other hand is like a parallel or higher hand when you do brush knee. The left hand is parallel to your body, closer to your armpits, I want to say, yeah? And the hook hand is higher. And then you're going to drop down. Just show me this drop down. Yeah, drop down. So what happens when you drop down? When you lower yourself, you're putting heavy weight on all your weight on your right. As a result of coming down, you notice the hook hand and the parallel hand have no choice because they're coming down because you're flexing, right? It's not just coming down because you're pushing it down. It's coming down because your body is connected. As you shift your weight and your fingers are down, this is my midway, we then allow our front foot to pivot, and we're going to take a better balance by doing this. The hook hand now turns up, and then that's going to give us that stretch that we need to come up. Yeah? Something like that, which all of you are doing really well and doing it the opposite of what I am doing, okay? So I'm going to do it your way and then see if you can pick up some pointers, okay? Watch first, okay? So left hand on the outside, left foot coming up, kick out in line, hook, and you notice that my eye is looking at that top hand. My feet are parallel, my weight is on the back. As I sit down, that front foot comes down, but the weight's still on the back. This is my halfway. I don't know if you can see my fingertips, but they're pointing downwards. Allows me then to pivot out to the left, stretch out this way, not bunched up, okay, good stretch, and then I'm a little bit far apart. I'm going to have trouble doing a golden cockerel this way, but it was okay. My toe comes down, hopefully in line with my heel, which is something that you're going to have to figure out. My feet are parallel. Only when my feet are parallel am I in a good position to do the other side. My hook now is the other hand. My other hand is now the parallel hand. I split parallel. I sit down. My hand is now, I would call halfway because my fingers are down. I then allow my front foot to pivot and veer to the right this time, all stretched out, and my hook hand comes up this way. I shift my weight, and I come up as a golden cockerel, okay? Not that hard. It's very easy. You tell yourself that, and then you'll get it, okay? I think that for people my age or older, I think it's difficult because we don't have that strength to slither down. But if you understand the premise in which it is built on, you can go down. And sure, you can say, well, you know what, I'm just going to modify it. I'm just going to go like this. But that's a beginning. But remember that you're in a little way shortchanging yourself, because if this is Serpent, and you weight down, this guy gives you the stability that you need to then allow you at the halfway point to then change your form or your position. And this also helps you. And we know that if you're up high, more than likely you're going to have a little trouble. I have trouble coming up. But if you're down at a comfortable, lower level, you have that swing to come up. And the opposite holds true also. But it's cumulative, so that if this is purposely the hook is purposely up at eye level or slightly higher, so that you can look down on it. I mean, you can go down and still look at it. If you're here, you're going to have trouble, right? You don't have that distance to come down, that space in which to come down. Then you don't want to look at it anymore, right? But you need it to help you to balance out this way. And then I'm too far stretched out, and I come up this way. Then you need to make sure that when you bring down that foot, and I call it really natural because I'm not going out here, I'm not going in here, I just plop it down, that's not a good word, and I come this way, It's sort of not in line, I can tell. Then I come down. Halfway, what's going to happen? Everything now shifts to the opposite zigzag. My hook hand is now repositioned, and I come up this way. Okay? All right, let's just try it. Okay, so the name of the game is just to get the feel, get the understanding, and then just try to put it together without any injury, okay? All right. I'm going to ask you to turn this way on a real way, okay? And then the harder one, when you turn around, you'll see me. So left hand on the outside, left foot coming up, and we're kicking out in line. Hooking, putting our toe down, dropping, halfway, pivot to the left, set, stretch out that arm, and then swing up, golden cockerel. Toe down, pivot, hook hand, split, sit down, halfway, veer to the right, stretch out the hook hand, swing up, golden cockerel. Hey, not bad. Okay, not bad. Okay, so everything else that I didn't see in between that, then you have to kind of work it through, watch the video. So can I just do it for you and maybe call out some of the things? Right foot is weighted down to allow my left foot to come up. Kicking out in line, in, down. Parallel feet, toe down, sitting down, halfway, allowing that pivot to come out to the left, stretch out, okay? You see this back hand? It's not here, it's stretched out this way. You want this suspended outreach position to then help you to come up this way, down, pivot, hook, out, sit, halfway, veer to the right this time, outreached arms on the left hook, bring it up, golden cockerel. Okay, this is the first one, right? This is the first one. And you're asking me, where's the weight? Weight is, good question. The weight has to be, and you're pivoting, I believe, on your ball of your foot. So the weight should be not favored on either side. It should be less on the pivoted side. Good question. I think that's a hard one. Kick out with your left, come down, out here, down here. So Mel's asking, on the second serpent, where's your weight? Right now, the weight should be on the back, but you're then shifting it to your toe to then pivot. So I want to say the weight is definitely on the back or left foot. But once you pivot, you're going to have to transfer some of the weight to the toed foot to then come up this way. Yeah?
Just remember, you cannot move the substantial foot. So you have come down already on one substantial foot. So you have to shift weight, like you said. Shift weight so you can at least, then you can do this.
Yeah.
So in your mind, see, okay, the rule is you cannot double foot. You got to shift weight.
Okay, and I think Mel's all of you are very intelligent. So you question because usually the toe foot has no weight. But if the planted foot has to do a pivot, it has to shift the weight. Otherwise you are going to fall or you're going to stumble or get clumsy. So it's very quick that you're going to transfer some of the toed weight to the other toed weight, transfer some of this weight to the toe to then come back down here. Okay, we can try it. It's easier understood if we try it, okay, and I'll try to call it out. So you're going to look through the clock, look at the clock wall. You're going to get ready to kick out with your left. Therefore, the weight is on your right foot. You're coming up with the left hand outside. You're kicking out in line, pulling in, putting your toe down. Are your feet parallel? Weight on the right, come down. That allows our left foot to come down. Halfway, your fingers are pointing to the middle of your body, pivoting out to the left, stretch out the hook hand. Shift your weight to the left or front foot, golden cockerel. Put your toe down, pivot on the ball of your foot, split, parallel, down on the left, halfway, fingers are pointing down, pivot to the right, stretch out, up, golden cockerel. Okay, so when I turn now, people on this side, the hand doesn't sit this way, the hand comes out this way to allow this motion, okay, to allow this motion. So you don't want to keep it too far close to your hips and thigh, you want to bring it out this way to allow this motion to happen, yeah? So, so watch my hand this way. This is my hand. It's not here, it's this way. Commencing form. Shift weight to the right, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 open, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, rotate. Deep breath in as you elevate both hands. Reverse, drop your shoulders, tuck your elbows. Hold your ball on a T stance. Out and to the side, part the wild horse's mane. 1. Sit back, lower, pivot out. Hold your ball for better balance. Out on an L, move that ball, part the wild horse's mane. 2. Sit back and lower, pivot out. Hold your ball, out on a heel, final parting of the wild horse's mane. Half step forward, hold your ball, spin the ball to the right, lift up the right hand, lift up the left foot on its toe, set it down on its toe, white crane spreads its wings. Drop your front foot as you bisect your body. Look back at your right hand that's higher, lift up the forward foot and hands go for the right as you brush your knee. Sit back, lower, pivot out, parallel higher on a T, ear, heel, hand, turn the hips and waist, brush knee 2. Sit back, lower, pivot out, parallel higher, look at the back hand, ear, heel, hand, turn hips and waist as you brush knee, final. Half step forward, sit back on your back foot, rock the front foot as you set it on its heel to play its lute. Drop your front foot, center your front hand, look at the back hand that's higher. Lift up, ear, toe, heel, pivot on the ball of your foot as you repulse the monkey. Center, higher, glance, lift up, ear, toe, heel, pivot in the center, repulse 2. Center, higher, glance, weight on the back, lift up, ear, toe, heel, meet in the center, repulse 3. Center, higher, glance, lift up, modify that foot, repulse, final. Hold your ball in a T stance. We're going to grasp the bird's tail. First, take an L, ward off. Turn the hips and waist, hands go for the right. As you sit down, sit back, look back, turn, contact, push in the center, separate, roll back, make yourself small, sit down to your hips with your hands, then power up and forward. Sit down, sit back, lower, pivot, T and ball, out and to the side, ward off. Turn the hips and waist, grasp the bird's tail, sit down, look back, turn, contact, push again at the center, separate and make yourself small as you drop down, then push up, push forward. Sit down, sit back, pivot, cup at 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock, flip the hands. Cup at 12, hook, T, out and to the side, first single whip. Sit back, lower, pivot, 12 o'clock cup, 3 o'clock, cloud hands. 9 o'clock, two things happen. 3 o'clock, two things happen. 9 o'clock, two things happen. 3 o'clock, two things happen. 9 o'clock, two things happen. Hook, T, out, L, second single whip. Half step forward, sit back, pat your horse with your left toe, cross, step out to the left, palms down, gather energy, center, right hand, right foot, kick out. In, drop gently on your heel on an L stance, stretch out that knee, look through your double punch. Sit back, lower, pivot all the way around, left hand, left foot up, kick out in line. In, hook, toe down, drop, halfway, veer to the left, stretch out that back hook hand, up, golden cockerel. Toe, pivot, hook, split, down, halfway, veer to the right, stretch out that back hook, up, golden cockerel. Heel down, hold your ball. Okay, for next week. Or commencing form. Shift weight to the right, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 open, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, rotate. Deep breath in as you elevate both hands. Reverse, drop your shoulders, tuck your elbows. Hold your ball on a T stance. Out and to the side, part the wild horse's mane. 1. Sit back, lower, pivot out. Hold your ball for better balance. Out on an L, move that ball, part the wild horse's mane. 2. Sit back and lower, pivot out. Hold your ball, out on a heel, final parting of the wild horse's mane. Half step forward, hold your ball, spin the ball to the right, lift up the right hand, lift up the left foot on its toe, set it down on its toe, white crane spreads its wings. Drop your front foot as you bisect your body. Look back at your right hand that's higher, lift up the forward foot and hands go for the right as you brush your knee. Sit back, lower, pivot out, parallel higher on a T, ear, heel, hand, turn the hips and waist, brush knee 2. Sit back, lower, pivot out, parallel higher, look at the back hand, ear, heel, hand, turn hips and waist as you brush knee, final. Half step forward, sit back on your back foot, rock the front foot as you set it on its heel to play its lute. Drop your front foot, center your front hand, look at the back hand that's higher. Lift up, ear, toe, heel, pivot on the ball of your foot as you repulse the monkey. Center, higher, glance, lift up, ear, toe, heel, pivot in the center, repulse 2. Center, higher, glance, weight on the back, lift up, ear, toe, heel, meet in the center, repulse 3. Center, higher, glance, lift up, modify that foot, repulse, final. Hold your ball in a T stance. We're going to grasp the bird's tail. First, take an L, ward off. Turn the hips and waist, hands go for the right. As you sit down, sit back, look back, turn, contact, push in the center, separate, roll back, make yourself small, sit down to your hips with your hands, then power up and forward. Sit down, sit back, lower, pivot, T and ball, out and to the side, ward off. Turn the hips and waist, grasp the bird's tail, sit down, look back, turn, contact, push again at the center, separate and make yourself small as you drop down, then push up, push forward. Sit down, sit back, pivot, cup at 12 o'clock. 9 o'clock, flip the hands, cup at 12, hook, T, out and to the side, first single whip. Sit back, lower, pivot, 12 o'clock cup, 3 o'clock, cloud hands. 9 o'clock, two things happen. 3 o'clock, two things happen. 9 o'clock, two things happen. 3 o'clock, two things happen. 9 o'clock, two things happen. Hook, T, out, L, second single whip. Half step forward, sit back, pat your horse with your left toe, cross, step out to the left, palms down, gather energy, center, right hand, right foot, kick out. In, drop gently on your heel on an L stance, stretch out that knee, look through your double punch. Sit back, lower, pivot all the way around, left hand, left foot up, kick out in line. In, hook, toe down, drop, halfway, veer to the left, stretch out that back hook hand, up, golden cockerel. Toe, pivot, hook, split, down, halfway, veer to the right, stretch out that back hook, up, golden cockerel. Heel down, hold your ball, okay, for next week. Or you try to put in, and I think it came a little faster than you kind of realized, but you can see that that's sort of the pace that you have to get into, so it does require some work. The pace comes even faster than what we just did because we're going to be doing it to music, of course, okay? Anything? You've got to give yourself some credit that you've at least trying to tackle it. And then once you come and you're comfortable with what you have, or semi-comfortable with what you have, then we can help you build on it. But I think for you, because I cannot tell you where that, I sort of can, but I'm not going to go there while you're performing, for you to figure out at home where that toe comes down in line with your heel, and then work it through. And then don't forget, shift and zigzag. Don't forget that this hand comes out rather than closer to you, and then get this momentum coming up. Then once you get that first one, this one is even harder, then you test yourself, okay? And then you come out, make sure that this is parallel. There's always a tendency to make this toed foot not parallel because you know eventually it's going to get there. But to stay ahead of the game mentally is good, but physically is bad. You don't want to jump ahead and cause some injury to the knee joints or any other joints. So think it through, go slowly, which is not always easy to do, especially in this complex movement that requires a quicker pace because you can't stay there very long. So right there now, can you just not even look and tell me, show, you could feel, where is that toed foot supposed to be? Just show me. Just figure it out. Firm down on one, the right, and then drag that left one out. Then come down. Then turn and pivot out. Okay, so those are the kinds, and then come up, finish it up, golden cockerel. So that's like a thing that you can take home and watch it in its entirety, and then when you start to stand up and practice, just take the feet apart and understand and mentally go through the movement without the hands. And then your payoff is putting it together and say, wow, it's easier once I know the feet work. And then make sure you shift your weight. Okay?
Yes, we're all on our journey, and I must say, the Serpent is very challenging. I keep trying to figure out what am I doing and what am I supposed to be doing, and how does it fit in with Tai Chi concepts. And for now, just getting an approximation of what it is, so that you know that there's some footwork, some shifting of weight, some arm work, that sort of stuff. I keep telling people about this little child's story of some blind men trying to figure out what an elephant is. And that's what we're all doing, and everybody's at a different stage potentially as to what they think the elephant is. In this case, the elephant happens to be Tai Chi. What are we supposed to be learning? And as we move along, we have one concept, and then as we go a little bit farther, we get a little bit more into it, and we start to refine it, and we start to understand, there's another facet to it, et cetera, et cetera. So I'd like to just go through the Serpent and just sort of tell you what is going through my mind. If we're at this position, okay, the weight is all, the footing, as Lucille says, is parallel, and one foot, the heel is the landmark for the toe of the other foot. But you're here, and the weight is, the weight is all on this foot, okay? And the hand, some people do it this way, some people, I like to do it this way, but it just gives me an idea. I get down on my hand is here, I use this as a means of helping me. And where do you remember that? If you're doing a brush knee, you come here, hands cross, up here, this vertical movement. And I'm not advancing yet. And then I advance. Similarly here. And it's demanding because it does put a pressure on your knee to come down, but this hand comes down and I'm still here. And then I start to turn my foot, but I'm still here. And I start to do this. And as I get to the straightaway, it gives me the cue, says, okay, foot go out, and then advance. Okay? And your hand has come this way, and then and what you need to do is, after you've done this, shift your weight, and then come up. Now, if you think about it, what happens is, this hand will go through this kind of a activity. This hand will be going through this sort of these gentle movements. One is doing this, the other one is doing this. Okay, but what you want to do is make both hands help each other, because what does it do? It helps you center. Yeah? If you got one hand going this way, you're likely to be veering off to one way or the other. But if you're doing them simultaneously, and what is happening also? You're advancing. I talk about advancement, and I also talk about rotation. And you're doing both of them. Because as you come this way, advance, rotation. It's not just turning it, it's rotation. Okay? One thing that may help you is that when you're out this way, be careful with how far you go. You see some of those individuals who are both physically much more developed and knowledge-wise, they're far beyond us. they can stretch out to way out here, but once you come down this way, you've got to go this way and be able to shift weight and then come up slowly. So when you first begin, you don't have that strength or flexibility. But as you master it, potentially, you can go as far as your body will take you. She wants me to talk a little bit about implications. Obviously, this is a hook. This is you're coming out here and you set your hand and you trap the individual this way, okay? And obviously, as you come back down this way, you're coming and you're going to be using this to strike him someplace down around here, okay? And if that doesn't get him, then you hit him with this, or you jab him with this, whatever. It's the forward moving hand.
We'll keep it as a serpent in the grass. That's good enough for me. I mean, I'm even having difficulty slithering through and everything. But I think, it can be a very beautiful movement, and already it shows me that even no matter what stage of your learning for Serpent in the Grass, it is beautiful. With beauty comes this feeling of accomplishment, but also feeling about knowing your body. So when I say things like parallel, yeah, you check yourself parallel, you check yourself toe and heel, you check yourself now weighting down, you check yourself at the halfway, which allow you then to pivot, then out this way, and then shifting your weight. All of those things, so I call them keywords, but if you can run it through your mind and listen, and then try to highlight that when you move. Come back, and then try to then refine it a little bit more. And it's to me, a lifetime journey of perfecting and enjoying, okay? So don't get stressed out, don't have to force yourself to cause injury unnecessarily, okay? Good job. Okay, see you next time.